Hi guys, and welcome to Trading Card Talk. It is Monday. It's myself and Tom, and then someone has invaded our YouTube get-up. It is Joe. It's OmniPoke on YouTube, and today we are going to discuss...
Social distancing.
No.
No?
Where Pokemon TCG is going to be in 2 years' time. So how... We've absolutely done no planning for this, by the way. We are just chucking ourselves in there, and we are going to guess where Pokemon as a whole, as a genre, I guess, is going to be in 2 years' time.
Not just the trading cards as a genre?
Yeah, but
Yeah?
mainly trading cards, because, I mean, this is called the Trading Card Talk.
Okay.
Before you just start raffing up half an hour about the games.
Oh, okay. Okay, so is there going to be a new game? Probably. So there's going to be new sets.
Yeah.
That could lead to things like new holos, like the new Amazing Rares in Japanese. Could have stuff like that. Might not be V cards. You might have already lost your V cards.
Yeah.
And grown up.
What do you think of the V cards, Joe? Like, do you think they'll keep it? Because when I spoke about the primes, I said they basically bottled them after a year. I don't think V cards are doing as well as GXs currently. Would you agree with that, or would you disagree? Or
I mean, competitively, they're definitely pushing V and V Max in the game, and it does feel like the GX or the EX era, where it'll stay for the majority of Sword and Shield format.
Yeah.
So as long as it's Sword and Shield sets, it'll still have V and V Max cards for the most part. Okay. But if we move on to, like Tom said, a new game or something like that, I can see them shifting. But I think things like Amazing Rares, they'll come in addition to the V Maxes and the Vs, rather than just like instead of. So, yeah.
Joe is also a lot more knowledgeable than me in general, but he's also a lot better with the competitive TCG. So you've done a lot of hosting there, and you're obviously a very good player. That's a lot of the stuff that you do on your YouTube channel. I've never played a game of Pokemon in my life,
Or any game.
or any game, which is quite sad, really, considering the position we're in. So are we going to go? So with the trading card game, we're expecting Sword and Shield to be around for the next 2-3 years, like Sun and Moon, which means they're, like you say, they're pushing the V Maxes. So we're just going to see bigger and bigger Pokemon. Is that?
Do you think we'll ever see a return of Megas?
I really hope not. I wasn't a big fan of Megas. I liked them in the video games.
Yeah.
In the trading card game, they had horrible mechanics. So VMAXs are like a strict upgrade to those. So I think they've done a good job.
So VMAXs work a lot better in the games then. When you're competitively playing, it's a lot smoother.
And I think they just look better as well than Megas. They've got their own identity because they're like textured. And they just look a lot better than the Megas, I think. And
what's your favourite VMAX so far?
Artwork wise, I really like the Snorlax. Snorlax is really
big old
good.
planet.
Snorlax.
Yeah.
And the new Eternatus that's coming out in our August set is going to be crazy strong in the game. So that'll be dominating the format.
Do you know what Pokemon that is?
Yes, obviously.
You don't then.
I know all of the Pokemon.
When you finish the playthrough, you'll know about it.
Okay.
That's fine.
In about 4 years.
Yeah, we've got the lonely Switch in front of us just waiting to be played.
It's even the Pokemon Switch.
Yeah. Oh. We did start doing live streams and then life got busy. So I actually really like the Rillaboom. Is it Rillaboom?
Yeah.
The big drum guy. I actually really like him, even though I should prefer... what's his the water type guy? Inteleon, isn't it?
Inteleon, yeah.
Yeah, see, I know my stuff.
It's because you're not very intelligent.
Yes.
But there was a video actually up a couple of days ago, which is why Rillaboom is the best Pokemon in Sword and Shield, by our friend.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I think a lot of people are going to be on the Rillaboom hype train right now. Obviously, Cinderace is better. You should like him. He plays football.
It's so just fire type Pokemon though, isn't it? It's so stereotypical. Yeah, it's very. It's just very stereotypical. They've just gone, here's a rabbit with some fire.
You're just a sad newt.
Because he's from English, because he's from that land.
English.
He's from the land of England. Let's give him a soccer ball, and look, there we go. We got a new Pokemon.
Yeah, for some reason, England they gave your one a sniper rifle.
It's for James Bond.
Oh, is that what it's meant to be?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, we don't have guns in England.
It's good to have a guest who actually knows his stuff.
He's an intelligence agent.
Oh.
Inteleon.
Oh, that's just made that Pokemon a lot cooler for me. I'm really happy.
And what's Rillaboom then? How is he English?
Famous British drummer from
yes.
Rolling Stones. I don't know who it's from,
No,
but it's a
neither.
drummer. Yeah.
They
all have a theme. It's David Beckham. It's 007, and then it's British.
Who is the Queen?
Artist.
Is the Queen in the game?
There's no Queen.
Damn it.
Poltergeist, maybe.
There's Surfetch though.
Surfetched is wicked.
He is really
Is there
cool.
a Surfetch card yet in English?
There's going to be a promo box card.
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I want that in a PSA 10.
Yeah, we can do Tom's Takeover Thursday with your Surfetch box. That'd be good fun. So if Sword and Shield is going to continue, we all like Sword and Shield, don't we? It's just maybe I don't think the hype's hit. The problem is we had Hidden Fates before Sword and Shield for me, which has made that the expectation. I think it was almost impossible that any set after that. Oh, we're mentioning Hidden Fates again. What a surprise! But like it was almost impossible for any set to hit those heights.
I think it's a really weird timing as well for Sword and Shield. We can't really in these times. It's hard to judge how those sets are going to perform. I think maybe in the September set, which is the first Sword and Shield holiday set that we're getting, we'll get a better picture where hopefully it can start pushing beyond Hidden Fates or at least competing with it.
Also, we haven't saw the Charizard yet. Like, we haven't got it. As soon as that Charizard comes, you know we're having 10 million of those being submitted. Charizard VMAX? Fat Charizard?
Yeah, that's Darkness Ablaze.
Yeah.
In middle of August set.
Well, August submission deadline is going to be busy. It's just going to be Charizard VMAX. That would be great submission videos. Oh, Charizard VMAX, Charizard V. I think Charizard, obviously, that set is going to go crazy. I mean, there's no denying it. Burning Shadows went crazy. Flashfire went crazy. It's going to go ablaze. But it is, isn't it? Because it's just because it's got the Charizard. It doesn't really matter what set you put a Charizard in.
I don't know what other cards are in there.
Well, it's actually really similar to Roaring Skies. It's like this perfect cocktail because it's got the new Shaman, the new Mega Rayquaza in Eternatus and Crobat V. So playability-wise...
Wait, it has a Mega Rayquaza?
No. Eternatus VMAX is the new Mega Rayquaza in terms of how it plays.
Yeah.
So it's like Roaring Skies from a playability standpoint. Everyone will want to open it. And then it also has a Charizard and a Charizard VMAX. So it is going to be a really hot set for sure.
How many booster boxes do we need to purchase?
I think we're too late, to be honest.
Oh, no!
The pre-orders are probably about a month or two before, aren't they? Like with the wholesalers.
Guys, we failed.
Yeah, we do. We'll get one box to open up, and we'll guarantee get a Charizard VMAX because it's an opening.
Only if we pull it off camera.
Yeah,
we never pull the good pulls on camera.
Yeah, you'll do 30 of them, and then the two boosters left will both have Charizard VMAXs in.
Out of 36, 30 plus 2.
So there's going to be a hyper rare Charizard VMAX, I'm guessing, as well.
The hyper rare's not in the main set, no. So it's really interesting because in Japan, they're doing tournaments to sort of get people back into the shops.
Yeah. Is that allowed?
Post-virus, basically.
Yeah.
And they're incentivizing it by having promo versions of a full art Charizard V and then the hyper rare Charizard VMAX, and they are extremely limited print as well. Like we're talking like 2,000 or so.
2,000.
Oh my.
So yeah, and they currently have no confirmation for English. I think they'll probably be the September holiday set for us, probably, or it will be like a Charizard box promo thing. But I can't see it being as rare as the Japanese variations.
Would they put a hyper rare in a box for a Charizard now? Because that box is going to like cause fights.
Well, we were having this conversation, weren't we, about how like just using Charizard and reprint it. When we talk about Hidden Fates reprint, I was worried they were just going to chuck in the chase cards in the promo boxes because it sells. Like it's going to sell. So if they start putting a hyper rare Charizard VMAX in a collection box or a tin, could you imagine?
I will fight someone in Tesco for that.
I mean, we've seen Reshizards in tins previously, and the Hidden Fates had a promo version. But yeah, I think you're right. If it's the chase card, the rainbow, I think that's a bit hard. Yeah. I think it would be better in a booster pack for the chase.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, there's no chase.
Or given away at a tournament like in Japan. That'd be fun.
I would play a lot of tournaments.
Worlds, when it comes to London.
Worlds promo. Oh man.
They did the Worlds promo with but if they only had a limited print of 2,000, that card would
we'd have to learn to throw cards at people to like knock it out of their hands.
Yeah, but it'd be worth so much money immediately.
Yeah,
and it'd just be like the Hidden Fates. Remember the BGS
point.
one? Yeah. But I don't know if cards should be going up that high that quickly. I don't know if it ruins it for a lot. That's why they've done the Hidden Fates reprint.
I do think it'd be cool if they released something though that was like insanely valuable, just like once every so often. Not a super often thing, but they were just like, do you want something ridiculously exclusive? Here you go. Do you remember the gold? Was it gold-plated Pikachu that they had in Japan? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Do something like that in English.
Yeah, I really like the Rocket box as well that they made, with the Giovanni and the Jesse James promos. I think if you keep it as promos, it's the best way to do it. Because if they just put like a crazy £10,000 card into packs, for example. I think it's almost just like gambling, and I think Pokemon don't really want that associated with themselves either, kind of like the sports card kind of thing.
Or maybe they do. No,
I don't think they do, because they always market to the youngsters as much as possible. That's why we had a reprint of Hidden Fates, because they want the kids to be able to buy these cards.
I think that's maybe what we forget as like adult. Well, we are adult collectors now. That a lot. Tom's not an adult, but I mean, like as adult collectors now, these cards, most of them still go to children and kids. So that means most of the packs open. If there was like a crazy exclusive Charizard, like the Charizard GX and Burning Shadows, for instance, most of them were opened up by kids who had no idea on the value. We'd guess. We'd guess. You know, they'd just play with it with their friends and be like, "I've got the coolest card. Trade me your Pinsir GX for it." But
Trade
like,
me your soul.
Yeah. But they don't. I don't think the value. Did we understand the concept value of the cards when we were younger? I know I definitely didn't. I know I liked a card.
I definitely didn't with Yu-Gi-Oh, because I pulled so many like ridiculously rare cards now that I see, and I'm like, oh wow, that's expensive, and I didn't know what they were when I was a kid.
The only thing I think about awareness is that a lot of kids watch like the Leon Hearts and the other opening channels, and boom, there's a price in their face immediately. So I think they do have a bit more intelligence on it.
Yeah. To be fair though, if you're opening the same packs as Leonhardt, you're loaded.
I mean, the kids aren't opening what
are you talking about? We got Fates Collide here, won't we?
He's on the hunt, isn't he, for the Rayquaza Gold Star at the moment, I think.
I was going to say for his Charizard base set first edition, but that's a bit harsh.
Don't go there.
It's alright. He's not going to watch this, let's be fair.
However, if you are, collab. But where else could it go in 2 years? Could it change completely? Could we have patch cards? I want patch cards, man. Or those things that we saw, the video's not up yet, that they like pull out a tab of the card. Do you remember?
It might look a bit gimmicky. Sense? Yeah, I remember the Pirates of the Caribbean. Video has not gone up, and it won't go up by the time this video's gone up.
It won't.
But it's a bit gimmicky. I guess another question is where we're going in 2 years. We've kind of talked about the sets and the V Maxes. I get like at the moment, Pokemon is on a high. Like it's taken a lot of fun stuff, it's up in the clouds, isn't it, right now?
Yeah.
Do we think that the momentum is going to still be here in 2 years' time?
Oh,
do you think we will have 5,000 subs by 2 years' time because the momentum has carried on? Like, is that where we're?
I think we can hit 5K by the end of the year.
Okay, well,
I think Pokemon is going to just go to new heights. I don't think it's going to stop. I think everyone's getting hyped by it. We've got people now doing YouTube videos. We've got, like, as I said, Unlisted Leaf. We've got Leonhardt. We've got Randolph. Like, all these people are high profile anyway. Yeah, everyone's.
I don't really open stuff.
Everyone's pushing Pokemon so hard.
Okay.
Pokemon themselves are like, now, you don't need to have a YouTube partnership to play a game. Like, you're just allowed to play it now. Like, they used to be so strict with everything. They're kind of, relaxing a little bit, as far as I know, and it's pushing it.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's so many new people coming into the hobby at the moment. Yeah. It really depends on how many people latch on and stay for the passion rather than just like seeing price tags at the moment, because I think there's that element definitely going on.
There is.
So I think there's inevitably going to be a drop off over the next, like 8 or so months when, we start seeing cards come back from PSA. Supply is back for a lot of people. There's a massive, a lot of risk has been taken away from people to actually submit their cards because there's such a better margin for people.
Yeah.
So anyone who's a seller or like reseller of Pokemon, they're going to start sending waves of cards in. I mean, we've even seen it with you guys. Yeah. Like regular people are just sending in more stuff because there's like no risk and it gives them money to spend on their most favorite cards instead.
I think almost every card that comes through, minus our grading fee, they're going to make their profit. Like it's very difficult to see any card that comes back from PSA that's worth less than £9, apart from some in your returns, which we're going to open up very soon.
All of them, actually.
But I mean, like, honestly, it's very difficult. Like, you had obviously had a load of binder cards, didn't you? And a load of cards you collected forever.
Yeah.
We have seen more of those people come out of the, more
and
come
people
out
just
and
send
submit.
us binders. Like, I haven't looked at this in like 15 years. What do you think?
Sometimes they've just stumbled upon a video and they've been like, I remember that card. I've got these. And then especially when there's like, you can still make profit on like an 8 or something like that. There's like no risk to sending most of the cards. So
No, there's not.
I'm expecting the pop report to really flesh out in more than just a base set.
Yeah.
I think it's like First Ed base and like base unlimited are the only truly fleshed out pop reports that we have at the moment.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think we're seeing across the generations, there's going to be more cards getting graded,
And
lower grades as well. And I
it's-
think that
yeah.
supply is going to take a lot, like there's going to be a lot more supply for people. So prices
Yeah.
will probably drop a little bit from what we're seeing at the moment
Yeah.
around like in a year's time. But there
Yeah.
could still be that same demand or a decent amount of demand, more demand than, you know, at the start of this year
Yeah.
that will keep prices afloat really for some cards anyway.
I think, yeah, there definitely could be a movement between the two, couldn't there? There could be, just saying out there, like unlimited WotC. You're going to have some collectors who are going after that in PSA 8, and then you'll have your first edition PSA 10s, and then you'll have your EX era. I think there is going to be bigger price divergences in sets, in cards, because I don't think, well, collectors like me, and probably yourself as well, we're not keeping every single card we grade. I think there will be more divergence. The more cards that people go, actually, I'm not going to keep that, the more supply you're entering onto the market.
Yeah.
And it depends if that demand's there to pick it up. I think at the moment, demand is like strong, ridiculously strong. As long as a lot of that stays there, it should be okay. I don't think we're going to see a massive drop. I think that would be.
I think it's hitting the sports card like kind of level. So I think people are going, do you know what? Doesn't matter now. The money is there.
There's a lot of people that have only just cottoned on to the spike of prices, like maybe this month, and especially like Gary Vanderchuk, he has a huge presence, like absolutely astronomical. And if you watch any of his videos, almost the start of every video will just be him asking like his producers, like, "Hey, have you bought any cards today? Show us your Squirtle." Like that's actually a thing that he's doing at the start of most of his videos now, mostly sports cards as well.
Yeah.
But some of his like team, they collect Pokemon cards, and they're like, "Hey, I just flipped this and made $200." And Gary's like, "Yeah, good for you, man. Anyone can do that too." And it's like, okay, so there's going to be new money sloshing around for sure.
Yeah, if you want to grade your cards, make sure to go to gradedgem.com.
So it's interesting how many people stay in the hobby and where things actually find like an equilibrium.
You don't even have to just be a collector to stay in the hobby. You could be the investor type person. The money's still there then. Like as long as you're in the hobby, if you've got 20 cards, you send them to us, you grade them, you sell them, you're out the hobby. So therefore the money's not there. But if you've got hundreds of cards and you're still investing in other cards, buying and selling, then you're still part of the marketplace, I guess. I think we're gonna. Yeah, I can't see. There's more and more people. Like you said, he's putting it on a higher profile. If it does become like sports cards, like Tom says, how big of the prices could just jump again?
I think the Illustrator Pikachu, I've said this before, is going to hit $250,000 within 2 years.
I think some people would even think it's similar to that price like now. I think some private sales may happen if people are willing to give up an Illustrator, you know, in the highest grade possible.
I just realised I was Voldemort, by the way, because my closer light was to my face for a while there. First half of this video, I have actually been the Dark Lord.
So the top tier collectibles, they're not going to dip in price, I don't think, like ever. But if you're personally collecting like lower grade stuff, just be aware that there will be more population coming on to the market. So don't feel like you have to rush for these cards. Like we've seen really decently high populations of even like PSA 10 graded base unlimited and like all of these other unlimited sets in high grades, and just think of the amount of people that only sent in cards because they thought it was a 10 and then got the 9 and then they sold the 9, and now it's like people can just grade and shift their 9s and their 8s really, really easily. And you know, this is mass-produced items, so don't forget that for the most part.
I think base set is definitely that case. Like, there is so many of them out there, and you know, it's just a regular thing in the
Just
submissions.
watch our submission videos.
Yeah, it's so regular. Like,
you'll see people do full sets and multiples of full sets.
Even pre-lockdown, it's so regular. But then somehow there was a base set hype train for normal and limited. I got first edition. I get Shadowless for normal base set and limited. And I look at the PSA 10 prices and I look at them and I think that's a bit odd. To me,
yeah, but it is the cards we played with as kids.
It is.
Yeah. It is. We didn't have first editions.
Yeah, it's very true.
And stuff. Well, if we did, then we're idiots. But we had them.
I think especially base set is for all these new people. They pretty much only know base set and like two or three of the other sets, maybe that caught their eye. So a lot of people will immediately be drawn to base because it's the first, and people think you can't be wrong with base, so they just sort of take that as it is.
We've had it many times where people will message us and go, "I've got base set first edition," and they are unlimited WotC. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. Like, but that's what they feel is base set first edition. So we get that message probably quite a bit, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's just because of a lack of knowledge there. My worry is that lack of knowledge is holding up the market. Does that make sense?
Maybe we should do an informative series.
I think definitely. I think you see that a lot for Machamp. Machamp is
Yeah.
the card that trips so many new people up.
Yeah.
The amount of times you see a spike in a Machamp sale because someone thinks they've got the OG Shadowless version of the first edition compared to the unlimited version. You see that a lot. Like I've seen £1,000 sales
It's a
of
shame
the
they're not
unlimited
labelled
10,
differently.
and it's like that shouldn't be the case.
It's a real shame they're not labelled differently.
Yeah, it's a mess up from PSA.
I'm not allowed to comment on that. I've got an agreement. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think PSA is definitely going to work to the future, and definitely discussions I've had with them, which we're not going to say, but they're definitely going to be working in the future to getting the labels correct on cards like that, because there does need to be a distinguish for collectors. Like, and I think it's a lot easier for them for sports, but that does need to happen for Pokemon in general. Because it's not fair that Shadowless Mash. We don't see many Shadowless Mashamps.
We've
First
seen
editions.
probably 5 to 10 this year.
Yeah, but
that whole year.
But if you're like a normal collector and you don't know that Shadowless, and you just think they're first edition.
Yeah.
So they just get all mixed up into one big lot.
And the pop report shows Machamp as like the most popular card, the most population.
Yeah.
And that's the split, I think. And we don't know what the split is. It could be a 5-to-1 split. It could be a 2-to-1 split. You don't know how much rarer the Shadowless is to the Unlimited, especially because it wasn't even from a booster pack. So we don't know what the distribution was in comparison.
Yeah.
So it's down to us to sort of guesstimate. So for that card specifically, it makes it very difficult.
But when you're trying to make a
gauge
purchasing decision, you can't just be like, oh, I'll just get. If for these primes example, I had no idea, by the way, that they were such low pop. But like I would have just guesstimated that they were higher pop and lowballed everyone. But that's not a fair way to be in a marketplace. And same with the other way round. If these pops weren't true and real, then you can't go to a seller and offer them a fair price, and they as a seller can't offer you a fair price for it to buy it. So there's definitely got to be distinguishments on the labels there, I think, and hopefully that will happen soon enough. But yeah, right, okay, that was the hype. That was where we think it's going to go. We talked about the cards. What else can we talk about? Do you want us to have a little chat about the games and maybe that pushing it? I know that you really want to.
Right, it's going to stay on Switch, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Everything's going to come out on Switch. We need Let's Go 2.
Yeah.
Because Gold, Silver, Crystal. I know we've had Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I want another remake. I want to be able to play it on a big screen. It's my favourite generation.
I want Gen 4 so badly. I've been
I've
ready
never
for Gen
played
4
all
for
the way
so
through.
long. Gen 4 was what got me back into the cards. And man, I want to play Gen 4 so badly. I think it hit that it hit a good age range as well.
Yeah.
Where you were like 14, 15 and so. And man, I feel like I played that game probably more than like Gen 1 and 2 even.
I want them to bring out
Gen
remakes of
4 so
everything.
badly.
I want Gen 2, 3, 4. I even want 5. Black and White 2
Black
were
and White
so
were good
good.
games. Yeah.
The storylines in that, like the game was pretty short, but the storyline, it's so good. So good.
But they've got to bring out the games to match with the cards, don't they? That's in general what they've done the last couple of
Well, they
years.
didn't do with Let's Go.
Let's Go was a kids game though, wasn't it? Like,
Let's Go wasn't a main line,
sick,
really.
though.
it was
Yeah.
awful, mate. You were cheating. You were doing the two
yeah.
flips at the same time, and I was like, "What are
The
you
only
doing?"
thing that mattered to that game was the shiny hunting, though. That's the thing that made it fun.
Yeah,
Because you could see shiny Pokemon in the wild.
Yeah.
Can't do that very often.
I think that's one of the reasons why Hidden Fates kicked off so much
Yeah.
was like the hype of watching people like stream and try and get shinies in the games, and it's so much more entertaining watching it on Let's Go
Yeah.
than on the
That's an
other video
interesting one.
games.
So, okay, here's a quick. Right. So, Hidden Fates.
Okay.
Do you still think we'll be receiving submissions in 2 years' time for Hidden Fates? Do you feel like Hidden Fates is
Yes.
going to be the set that, like base set, let's say, for our generation, for this new generation of collector? Do you think Hidden Fates is going to be their base set?
It's weird, right? Because there's no guaranteeing that it won't still be printed at that point. It could still be in. It could still be in print at that point. I mean, they've only just stopped printing evolutions, so that should give you some context that they print these popular sets for a long, long time if they want to.
Very true.
So,
So they should.
the only thing I would say about Hidden Fates is it can kind of get drowned out by other new holiday sets and other sets that come out. So there'll be other Chase cards. There'll be more Chase Charizards that we've just mentioned. So
if we have the gold tag teams in English, I think that'll like kill off Hidden Fates.
I think there's always a new Chase card. That's
Yeah.
the great thing about Modern. Why pay over the odds for an other Modern product when you can just play retail for the new Modern Chase card?
And
That would
chase
be what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Hidden Fates is one of those that we have to mention in every topic of the video, so we can put it in the title. So you click it. That's literally every single video. So if that's going to be the case with Hidden Fates, we're going to see more holiday sets. Obviously, I was disappointed there was no first holiday set this time. Should we talk a bit about the competitive TCG?
Sure.
And like so obviously London was called off this year because we were obviously going to go
All of London.
Oh, but actually, to be fair,
More or
I
less.
don't think you're wrong by saying that. So London Worlds was called off. We were going to go down there. We were going to have a chat. We were going to meet a load of the submitters and anyone else who just wanted to say hello. Obviously, that's called off. That's going to be next year now.
Mm-hmm.
What impact is that going to have that we've had a year off? What impact is it going to have on collectors and players? And
Yeah, definitely. It's an old time for players right now. We're kind of just making ends meet kind of thing by playing, Discord tournaments and a few other things that people, off their own back are making. Obviously, Pokemon, they came up with this tournament that was based on PTCGO, which is pretty interesting. That's still ongoing. It's called the Players' Cup.
Yeah.
And that can get you a travel award to one of the internationals for the 2021 season.
that's pretty cool.
At the moment, though, we don't know when the next tournament will be for Pokemon. I don't know how they're going to start reintroducing it. Obviously, it's a global game and a global brand, so I don't know if they're going to be waiting until the entire world can reopen and start playing the game, or if it's just going to be segmented. There's so many ways they could go about it.
I mean, that's a lot of travelling's involved, isn't it? And obviously,
ton of travelling.
Airplanes and they're just not very pleasant places to be at the moment. I wouldn't want to catch one now. I know some people do, but
and so many get cancelled at the moment as well. It could really hurt attendance. People will be hesitant to go outside, and those who can go might have their plane cancelled anyway, or whatever, or their other travel plans cancelled.
How annoying that would
So,
be. Or even you get there, you can't get back. Like,
yeah. I mean, that literally, there was a tournament in Malmo back in March, and there was a bunch of Italian players at this tournament, and Italy chose to lock down like on the Sunday, and they were like, yeah, we have to drop from the tournament. We need to leave now to actually get back into Italy. And that was back in March when we were in Sweden playing. Yeah.
And obviously we're not commentators on the virus, but we don't know how it's going to develop.
Sure.
There's a lot of talk of the second wave. We're not going to discuss that here because we are a Pokemon channel. But like, if they've got to build that risk into reopening any sort of tournament with a lot of people there.
We need a Pokemon move called Second Wave.
I don't think that will be I don't think that would be appreciated, to be honest.
I've already said that's why the set wasn't released, the holiday set. It was defo a poison set or something like that, and they were like,
man.
no, we can't do that, so they just reprinted Hidden Fates. I still think that's what's happening.
Not.
They were like, uh-oh, this is bad.
Yeah, so there is that.
It's out there now.
It's out, he said it, and he edits the video, so I can't do anything about it. Okay.
For long.
Yes. Oh, that's very true. In terms of like, so obviously that's a lot of people meeting. You'd have to wear face masks. Obviously, I've been to the barbers recently, and they did a great job, to be fair. But like, you had to wear a face mask there. So that'll be the case wherever, especially, are these places even open? Like, I know the NEC's closed.
The NEC's a hospital, isn't it?
Yeah, like, and the exhibition centres, they're just closed.
Yeah.
So like, people can't, even if they wanted to book
Do an
a
outdoor
Pokemon
one.
tournament. Yeah, but it's not any safer to
Nowhere with wind.
Yeah, or park benches. It's not any safer, is it? I mean, everyone just go to the park. It has to be an official tournament. It's endorsed by Pokemon. They can't be inviting loads of people who have COVID into a big square and being like, right, now play a game.
But you can go into a pub.
You can, yeah.
Pokemon are ultra conservative about brand image as well.
Yeah.
I think them and Disney are like the two most obsessed about brand image, and they will not risk a single thing ever for bad publicity. So they will be on the most cautious side. They will be one of the last, of all the trading card games, they'll be the last to reopen, I would imagine.
Yu-Gi-Oh's probably already open.
There's no promise that 2021 will even happen right now. So they just have to play it by ear. There's nothing else they can do at the moment, but they will be ultra cautious.
Maybe by
no matter
2022 we'll finally have... You said 2 years, right? Where will it be in 2 years? Maybe we'll have our first Pokemon tournament.
Please. Please.
Are you seeing... So, obviously, because of the players, they don't have as much to do. Like, obviously. are you seeing players less engaged or leaving or?
Sometimes less engaged, sometimes just putting it on hold and saying, I don't need to buy Rebel Clash, I don't need to buy Sword and Shield cards, I'm not interested until I know that tournaments are back.
Yeah,
so
true.
Buying cards, definitely a drop-off. Playing, they're still online, obviously.
Yeah.
There's still tournaments they can get involved in. I think a lot of people have gone back to old format and other alternate format classes as well, so that might be a small reason why we've seen some more interest in some of the older cards, even like raw and loose on eBay at the moment, because people are trying to pick up old decks and just play and stuff like that, and there's all sorts of other things going on, but it's mainly the online scene. So from a player's perspective, I would say almost everyone is just like not paying out unless they have to. Like they might buy some Darkness Ablaze to pull a Charizard, but at the moment they have no incentive at all.
Because if you are just a player, then you would only buy the cards if you're playing competitively, wouldn't you? You wouldn't.
And they buy singles as well most of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even open cards, so
don't you always want to keep up with whatever the meta is though, just so you can adapt in the future?
Some people definitely will.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at Rebel Clash, I think the only cards that I bought were Scoop Up Nets and Boss's Orders, 2 trainer cards in the set.
Did you buy the hyper rare?
No.
Oh,
I'm min rarity, lowest value. But that's all I bought because I was like, these cards will continue to be good in the future.
Yeah.
And Dragapult was an insanely strong card in the Rebel Clash format, but myself and basically none of my friends went out and bought Dragapults, even though we knew it was the best card at the time, because we didn't know when we could get to play a tournament again. So I think that will also have a small backlash on Modern, because especially for resellers, when you're opening boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes, you're hoping to get your value from play sets of trainers and all that sort of stuff, rather than just bulking everything, as well as like all your chase cards. So it may also have a small adverse effect on sets.
Well, it lowers the market activity. It's interesting because obviously when we opened some sets, Cosmic Eclipse or whatever, what you would normally do if we had the time, you would split up the booster box. You'd go, right, these cards are worth this much, this is just bulk, and you'd list them on eBay. But if there's no one buying them for competitive play, therefore your return on that box is going to be less, therefore you're going to be less confident buying your next box. Like, I know that sounds all very odd, but that's how it works, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. Expected value is obviously a big thing, and everyone wants a safety margin, even if you are, risking it to try and hit Charizard or whatever. Yeah. You still want to have some knowledge that you can at least make X amount back. And if all the trainers then become, half a pence bulk or whatever you get for it, it's going to really affect those box prices and keep them pretty much at a level. But that said, Darkness Ablaze is crazy busted, so it could still be immune to that.
Plus PSA prices are just going up and up and up, right? So you're getting less risk on that side if you're going to grade your chase cards.
Yeah, that's very true. It'd be interesting to see actually the PSA market for Sword and Shield and for Rebel Clash. Because I have no idea. Someone asked me the other day what the value of this card is when it come back. I've not got a clue. Right. Like, and there's no populations anyway. Obviously, there's the lovely delays at PSA as well.
Cinderace VMAX, if so, £1 million.
Yeah, but like how these populations could be incredibly low for a long period of time. Obviously, PSA will push some orders out. But at the end of the day, they're all going to come back in a very similar. We know how PSA works. Yeah. You send them in 1 month, you'll get 90% of them back in the month they're supposed to come back. Yeah.
Usually you'll get them all back within like
a
2
week,
3 weeks. Yeah, they come back in super concise amounts.
Yeah, that's just how PSA works. So when we send our returns back, they come back in like a week's format for everyone, and we basically increase the supply by ourselves here at Graded Gem, which by 1,000 or 2,000 cards, which sounds silly, but that's a lot of PSA cards.
And we see people like check the pop reports, and they'll be like, it went up by like 7. And it's like, it's because our orders got completed.
Yeah, at the same time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I think it'll have more of an effect in the UK, obviously. Obviously, there's a lot more individual submitters in the US. There is, individual submitters in the UK and Europe, but I think most people use services. Either us, which you should be using if you're watching this video,
if you're not using us,
or the others. But like, it'll be interesting to see for Sword and Shield and Rebel Clash. Like I said, the playability is not there. Whether PSA would be interested, we're definitely seeing an uptick in the EX cards, I feel.
Little KCX or big KCX?
Both.
Both. Yeah. Big KCX, actually. The
By big case, I definitely mean uppercase.
Yeah, uppercase, yeah. Big case. Big case. Okay, I mean, we've been going for 35 minutes. Is there anything Joe wants to bring to the table? Final thoughts?
In third person, apparently.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does Joe want to do anything? I don't know. I think one other thing is just a small macroeconomic thing as well, which is just like, we're all growing up. Whoever's currently in the hobby doesn't necessarily mean that if the market size goes down, that price will go down, because everyone will have slightly more buying power for the most part.
Yeah.
And at the moment, we've seen that more buying power, because people aren't spending money going out and doing other things, has meant that these cards have shot up massively. Like, yes, the market size has gone up probably as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've had more disposable income over the last few months, because we've been forced into this.
Government handouts.
And government handouts as well for the US. It does just show that, like, people are really desiring these cards.
Yes.
And if we are all earning more money over, the years, which, on average we will, then it just shows that there is true demand there. And cards, maybe not 2 years, but maybe in 10 years, we'll see much higher prices than we do today. So I think a lot of people are also sort of banking on that train and saying that, like, people who bought this 2 years ago are doing so much better today. And it's like people who bought this 10 years ago are doing excellently today.
Yes.
So I think
10 years ago were just loaded.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
So there's also that big argument that even though things are hyped right now, if you're parking money in the right places, it could still be like an excellent investment.
Hidden Fate, probably.
Possibly Hidden Fate.
To be fair, I don't actually think I could have said that better myself. I totally agree. That's why I always keep my collection. I keep it very separate. It's important to me that, I've got cards that I sell, I've got cards that I grade, and I've got cards that I keep no matter what. And like you said, it's interesting because obviously these cards have increased in value so much. I'm now more confident going out there spending more money on a card, because I know that the value's there in my collection otherwise.
Or not even cards, sealed product.
Or sealed product, yeah. Well, sealed product's in a massive increase, hasn't it? Like,
yeah. But we're still buying stuff, especially stuff that you want to collect. It doesn't matter what else comes in it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like, you're more happy now to spend X amount on a tin or a box or whatever, just because you're like, I'll probably make my money back otherwise, and I can try and collect my card.
Yeah. I think there's also desensitization to prices. Like, I think once you've made that first 3-figure purchase, once you've made that first 4-figure purchase of like a card or a box or something, people then think like, oh, I've done that for the other card. This is probably worth like a similar range. So I think if there is that sort of price memory, it could end up sticking for some of the better
Plus,
stuff.
like £500 pack, that's a lot cheaper than a Charizard base set first edition PSA 10, right? Like, if you look
10
at it
times
readily,
cheaper. It's 10 times cheaper at the moment.
It's sometimes the Pokemon trading card market is like away from normal life, and I think that's a lot of case for collectors as well. Like, I have my living expenses and my life expenses, and then I have my Pokemon card expenses, which was a lot bigger bubble. But I think that's the case for a lot of collectors. I think they put a lot of their disposable income in that basket, and they've also got their value of their cards already, which they can bank on. It's an interesting time, really. It'll be interesting to see how much further these prices can go. I think they will slow down a little bit now, especially going into the end of the year, because I think the economy just in general, there's a lot of jobs going probably. But it'll be interesting to see what happens next year, whether things kick on even further after the price.
I want to see how normal people react to it. Like, people not inside it at all. Because I told my mom the other day that I'd bought 3 Harry Potter booster boxes, and I told her how much for, and she was like, what the? And I was like, yeah, but they're cool.
But they're comparatively cheap.
No, they're so cheap in comparison. And I was just like, Harry Potter cards, that's what I do for a job.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they're mine. I want them. And she was like, why have you spent that much? I was like, meh. That's not that much. Not in comparison to Pokemon. And then I can be like, hey, Mom, look, here's a picture of a £5,000 card. And she's like, I don't get it. Yeah. Do you think normal people are going to start getting it? Like, they get it with sports cards.
It's weird, like, because we saw just how many people actually sort of know the franchise. Just look at Pokemon Go. Yeah. People not necessarily want to invest in the cards, but they'll at least invest their time into Pokemon and love the hobby.
So much money.
Pokemon,
so much money.
It made literally billions for Pokemon. That's why we're seeing a new app every like 2 months from Pokemon. They're just hoping one sticks.
Pokemon Smile.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be the one.
That's out now. And Pokemon Cafe Mix and all sorts. They're doing everything, just hoping something sticks. But it just shows you how many people actually are aware of the Pokemon brand and stuff. So. It's not necessarily that this is like the largest ever market size we'll have. It still has potentially like a long way to go if more people get back into the hobby. You know, everyone knows about Pokemon from our generation at least. It would have been a big portion of their childhood for a lot of people. So yeah, the market could still like grow in size as well. This isn't the largest we'll ever see it, I don't think, personally.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I think it will always. I think if you go on 5-year trends, I think it will always grow because we'll grow with it as people, and we'll grow older, and therefore, like you said, the disposable income will hopefully be better.
People who are dipping the toe now, like we're seeing now, like people who sort of got in at Evolutions, they're now looking at the higher ticket items a lot of the time, and they're really invested in the hobby. Those who stayed around, they've been invested for like 3-4 years now. They've gained their core knowledge. They could tell you anything about every card ever. And the people who have jumped in at Hidden Fates now, once they've had their fill of Hidden Fates, they can start looking towards other pieces of the hobby and start getting an interest in those cards as well. So it could just be like the first drop of the bucket, and then so many more people get interested in all the old cards and everything else.
Have that hipster feeling, aren't they? They're like, oh, I've got the new stuff. But what would be cool are the older stuff. I don't want to collect the new stuff now. I want to collect the old stuff. I want to be the cool kid.
No, it's very true. It's a difficult one. Jeez, my head's blown now. I mean,
don't fall asleep.
Yeah, it's actually having someone who actually knows what they're talking about on the channel really helps.
I know, because we don't. We don't.
No,
so.
we don't at all. Like, we're just here going, oh yeah, cards are cool, and Joe's like, yes, they're cool for this reason.
This is going to be a high pop. 7. It's a pop. It's
and then I'm trying to talk economically to you because he has, and very well at that point. I'm going to nick that word expected value because I love it.
It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been great fun having you on.
Thanks.
And it's actually been, I think, our first video, which might help people at home when they
remember, this is not advice. Legal statement.
No, none of this is advice.
Opinions.
Only. They're all opinions. But we'll definitely have you on again. Mainly because 1, you don't fall asleep, and 2, you have a lot of knowledge there. Sorry, Tom, few digs there.
That's anyway, okay, mate. A dinosaur's coming to get you. It's fine.
Do you want to do your usual?
Remember, guys, hit that subscribe button and the little bell if you actually want to get notifications, because YouTube sucks. Hit that like button as well. Leave a comment down below on your favourite part of this video, where you think it's going to go in the future. And as always, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.